Hello, I'm Dr. Vanita Rattan, and this channel is dedicated to skincare for skin of color. As you know, I'm a doctor, but I'm also a cosmetic formulator specifically for skin of color. Now, I know a lot of you maybe haven't watched my other videos and so don't know about skin of color versus Caucasian skin. But the difference is with us, we pigment very quickly. One scratch, one bite, or one burn, and we hyperpigment. Literally, I say one mosquito can take down our skin. So we have to be very careful when it comes to the products that we choose for our skin and avoiding things that are going to burn our skin or lead to irritation, which will trigger our melanocytes, leading to more pigmentation. So today's video is a very important video, and it is how to exfoliate correctly for skin of color. I think it's something that we haven't discussed enough, and I think it's something that's led to a lot of trauma and pigmentation for skin of color. And as you know, my aim is to have 0% burns in skin of color, 0% irritation. And that's really what this whole channel is about, because I understand how to read ingredients and I understand how ingredients impact our skin. Really, this is all to decode it for you and tell you what's worth your money and what you should avoid. It's also really important to know that none of my videos have ever been sponsored and they will never be sponsored. This is an evidence-based channel for skin of color for you and for our children, to just ensure that we're buying the right things that are suitable for our skin. Right, so if that sounds good to you, please give me a thumbs up and let's dive right in. So today we're going to be talking about the different forms of exfoliation, the mistakes that are made with skin of color, and how to choose the right product for you. So first of all, is exfoliation necessary? Is it something that skin of color should be doing? Is it going to give you results that you're looking for? And the short answer is yes. What happens is we have about 30-day cell cycle for cells to go from the basal layer all the way up to the surface. This gets longer as we get older. So for example, I'm 37 years old today. It was my birthday yesterday. So it takes me about 40 days for my new skin cells to come to the surface. When you get to 60 years old, and my mum's age, then it takes her about 80 days for new skin cells to come to the surface. So it gets slower and slower. My son, who's 3 years old, has about 3 days for his cell cycle. So it's very quick when we're young. As we get older, it gets slower. But what ends up happening is that there's cell buildup. Those dead skin cells then just stick to each other at the top, on top of your skin, and it leads to dull looking skin. The reason is that these are old, shriveled skin cells. They are not sexy at all. And so what happens is when light hits it, those skin cells are not plump and juicy, they're shriveled, which means light is being dispersed in lots of different directions, and that's what leads to dull looking skin. When you look at our babies with their beautiful, flawless skin, it's because they've got young, juicy, healthy skin cells that are nicely reflecting light. And so really what we want to do is to remove those old, dull, dead skin cells, because they do nothing for us, and they also prevent penetration of active ingredients into our skin. So it's twofold. Exfoliation is very important for us, especially as we age, but we have to do it carefully, because if you don't and you burn, it can trigger your melanocytes and lead to more pigmentation. And then when you're in that situation, you're in another whole cycle of issues, because now you're trying to use tyrosinase inhibitors to try and slow down that cell. The key really here is prevention. That's why I talk about sunscreen so much and being gentle with our skin, because I just never want one person with skin of color ever again to say that they used a particular product, burnt with it, and now they've got dark marks all over their faces. It just should not happen, in my opinion. And I think through this channel, we are making big changes. So for example, it may not just be you watching, you may share this video with your mom who's burnt with using a specific exfoliator, or you might give it to your daughter who's looking into skincare and you don't want her to burn her skin. This way, we really do spread the knowledge and the love and ensure that we have much higher standards of skincare for skin of color. Okay, so the first type of exfoliation is chemical exfoliation. So this includes your AHAs, your BHAs, and now your PHAs. PHAs are new to the skincare world, but I do think it's actually going to be very good for skin of color. So the way acids work is that they just dissolve the bonds in between skin cells. They work on the epidermis, and so those skin cells are washed off. Now, this is going to improve the texture of your skin. It's going to improve the pigmentation of your skin. Any pigmentation that's trapped in those dead skin cells will be removed, so your skin does look brighter. If you're talking about BHAs, they're fat soluble, so they go into the pore to help unclog the pore, get rid of that gunk in the pore, and it helps to minimize the appearance of pores as well as reduce acne. There's lots of positives, but let's start off with AHA, alpha hydroxy acids. So the classic ones we talk about are glycolic acid, lactic acid, and mandelic acid. Now, I'm sure some of you are going to go, Dr. V is going to say glycolic acid, the enemy, avoid. I would say it is my least favorite AHA. There are better AHAs for skin of color. If you want to use glycolic acid, use it as a surgical knife at a maximum 5% in order to get actives deeper into the skin. And for example, I would formulate with glycolic acid. I'm creating the world's first extensive pigmentation kit for skin of color for our elbows and our knees. I would have to formulate with glycolic acid in order to get through that thick epidermis to get the ingredients to the melanocyte. So it's not the devil, it's just there are better ways to exfoliate the skin. It's a tiny molecule, and if you use a percentage that's too high for you, it can irritate, it can burn, it can lead to hot spots, and it can lead to more pigmentation. And as you all know, I've been looking into this recently. Why is it that I seem to be the only one talking about this? And why is there so much resistance when it comes to this? We all know that glycolic acid has side effects. And I think fundamentally, we're all looking at the same data, but our interpretation is different. The reason being, for me, I want 0% burns. If you're coming in with the premise that you want 0% burns, you're going to do every single thing in your power to ensure a burn doesn't happen. Well, glycolic acid can lead to irritation and can lead to hot spots and can lead to burns. So why would you use it in that setting? And I think that's fundamentally where all the influences are coming from, slightly different backgrounds, is that premise is different for everybody. But then this whole channel is dedicated to us, is dedicated to skincare for skin of color. So I'm always going to have zero tolerance for anything that's going to irritate our skin. So I think that's where the slight pushback is coming from. And I think a lot of you are aware of what's going on too. I read all your comments in the comment section. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. We understand why people are saying slightly different things. Okay, right, so with this lactic acid, I would say maximum 7% as an exfoliator. And for mandelic acid, obviously I love mandelic acid. I use mandelic acid at the Hyperpigmentation Clinic. I'm sure you already know this, but I specialize in treating pigmentation for skin of color. So we've done about 40,000 cases, and mandelic acid is my favorite AHA. It's hydrating to the skin. It doesn't burn skin of color because the molecule is so large. It is so slow to penetrate the skin that it physically can't lead to a burn, compared to, for example, glycolic acid, which is a tiny molecule. It flies through the skin within seconds, and most of the time you have to neutralize it. And so if you even miss one molecule of glycolic acid, that leads to a hotspot. In my opinion, it's not something I'd recommend to my family or my kids or anyone else to use, and you are my family, so I would probably just steer clear of glycolic as an exfoliator. Use it as a surgical knife to get your actives into the skin. The next one is BHA, which I love. It's perfect for skin of color, especially oily, acne prone skin. And honestly, right now, so many people are suffering with maskne. Me myself, you can have your mask on for 1 hour while you're shopping, and the next day you can actually lead to breakouts just from that 1 hour. You've created a moist environment, which, guess what, bacteria loves, and that just leads to maskne. I've done a whole video on maskne for you, so if this is one of your issues, I highly recommend you go and watch that video. But BHA is 2%, fantastic for skin of color. So the next new kid on the block is the PHA. So these are things like gluconolactone, lactobionic acid, and they work very similar to an AHA, but they're much larger molecules. And guess what? That means that they're less irritating. They're more hydrating than AHAs, and I would actually formulate with PHAs. I haven't yet, but it is something that I would definitely want to investigate further. But it's actually almost a better form of an acid than AHAs, just because of the size of the molecule. And it's the same reason why I love Mandelic. Okay, so the next category is something that we've probably all been using for a very long time, and that's physical sunscreen. Right from your St. Ives, which are your physical sunscreens, and I think Kylie even uses it as walnut in her physical scrub. Not sunscreen, sorry, physical scrub. Even DIY, people use it in their DIY and they use whole grains. And again, that just rips the top layer of skin away. Sonic brushes do the same thing. Towels, when you're aggressively rubbing your skin, does the same thing. Now, all these things versus chemical. Imagine chemical, you've dissolved the bonds and so the top layer sheds by itself. Physical, you are ripping that top layer of skin off your face or whatever you're doing it from. And that is going to irritate the skin. It's not something you would want to do on your face. If you are going to use a scrub, I would say use it gently. Be kind with your skin, but I just prefer chemical exfoliation for your face. Okay, Dr. V, so now you've told us the bare basics. What are your best products? So first of all, I'd say is look at your skin. If you have dry, sensitive skin, then I'd recommend PHA because it's more hydrating and less irritating than AHA. And don't forget, even BHAs are quite drying to the skin. So PHAs are going to be your best bet if you have dry, sensitive skin. If you have oily, acne-prone skin, then go for salicylic acid. The one I really love is Paula's Choice 2%. Because it also has humectants in it too. So while BHAs can be dehydrating, you really want to have water magnets being put onto your skin at the same time, which is what humectants are, and Paula's Choice 2% is very good. The next one is if you've got combination skin, use AHA, BHA, but use mandelic acid as your AHA plus your salicylic acid. That's what I do. I literally formulate my own exfoliator for my own face, which has mandelic acid plus salicylic acid in it, so that I'm unclogging my pores for when I get hormonal acne or maskne, but also I'm taking off that top layer of dead skin cells, so I get better penetration of actives. Now, it's really important that you don't make any fundamental mistakes when it comes to exfoliation. So number one, before you exfoliate, make sure you've double cleansed by this point, but you want to hydrate with a non-alcohol toner. So you want your toner to basically soothe your skin after you've caused some irritation from washing. You want to soothe your skin, you want to add humectants into your skin, and then you want to exfoliate. I would never go straight from cleansing, double cleansing, which is a little bit irritating to the skin, and now you go in with an exfoliator. For skin of color, we really do want that hydrating step before. The other thing to note is make sure after you've exfoliated not to use any low pH or irritating ingredients, because you've almost taken off that top layer of protection. So you don't then want to go and put something that's going to aggravate your skin. You want to put things that are going to have similar pH to your skin, that are non-irritating, and you want to hydrate properly. That is key. So I do Dr. V double hydration. This is what I've been doing with my own skin. I talk about it a lot, is when you moisturize, but then you top up with an oil which will prevent any transepidermal water loss throughout the night, especially if you've got air conditioning or central heating. So double hydration is really key for us. We want to create a healing environment for our skin, so at nighttime your skin can repair itself. You want to wake up in the morning feeling like your skin is soft and supple, not dry and stripped. One of the classic mistakes is how often people exfoliate. If you've got normal skin or dry skin, I would not exfoliate more than twice a week at nighttime. If you have oily, acne-prone skin, it's okay to wear your salicylic every night, BHA, but for normal skin, I really wouldn't recommend that. It's going to lead to sore skin, redness, inflammation, and it tends to make everything worse. So I wouldn't do that. If you're on a retinoid, so vitamin A, then I'd also take care with exfoliating, because you're already turning over skin cells. You've already got nice, fat, juicy skin cells coming to the surface quite rapidly. There's not much to exfoliate at that point. So just take care if that's part of your skincare routine. Avoid if you have sensitive eczema skin or any form of dermatitis, or if you've had any disruption of your skin barrier, because that is absolutely not the time to exfoliate. At that point, you want to be hydrating. That needs to be everything that you're doing with your skin at that point. The other thing I would definitely please make sure is that your exfoliants have no fragrance in it. You're already irritating your skin. Why put in something that's the number one cause of contact dermatitis into that product? Yeah, I mean, you already know how I feel about that. I'm in the comment section for 1 hour at the launch of every single video, so make sure when you subscribe you hit that notification bell for all my videos so you know I can answer your questions in real time. Don't forget to download your free guide. So I've created a free guide that goes through skincare that's suitable for skin of color and ingredients that we should be avoiding. It's also something that you should give to your children if they're starting to understand the world of skincare. Please can you write down below any other videos you want me to make for you. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Skincare by Dr. V and the Hyperpigmentation Clinic, and I'm now on TikTok as well, just at Dr. Vanita Rattan. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you later.